community knows no bounds when the citizens are inspired to create. Imagine Martin on TV with hosts Jeff Sauer and Alexandra Hurney.
Hi, I'm Al Hurney, artist and taproom manager at Fairmont Brewing Company.
And I'm Jeff Sauer, loan officer, and we're here with Imagine Martin on TV.
We interrupt this program to share with you the organizations that have made Imagine Martin's Community Information Hub a reality. Martin County Economic Development, American Legion, Lee C. Prentice Post 36, Martin County Pork Producers, Central Farm Services, Martin County Historical Society, Kim Chris, Exit Realty, Fairmont National Agency, Incorporated. Join us in thanking each of them. Now we return to our program.
We've got a great show today. We're devoting our entire show to shining a spotlight on the Fairmont Opera House, which has been around for years and years and years. And we as a community need to preserve, support, and celebrate this landmark to keep it in our community.
That's right. The Opera House has been a staple for generations, and we hope to keep it that way for the future. So we're excited to have this show today.
Joining us now is the Opera House's Executive Director, Blake Potthoff. Blake, Thanks for being here today.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm excited to hear all the information you have to share with what's going on with the Opera House, raising money, things you found. So let's dive in.
Well, I'm super excited to be here and share with the community all the updates and the fun stuff that's going on at the Opera House. I think first and foremost, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the community, and thank you to everybody who supported the Fairmont Opera House. We've had quite the whirlwind 18 months, 2 years, I guess, since we discovered that we needed to work on the Fairmont Opera House in 2023. Since we made our capital campaign public on July 23rd, 2024, we've raised over $1 million, which is really exciting. It's a quarter of the way there by all of the metrics that capital campaigns are judged against. Raising that amount of money in that time frame is really, really impactful, and it's over-exceeding what most capital campaigns do. Yeah. And even more so, 99.9% of the funding came from Minnesota and 99.3% came from right here in Martin County. So it really shows the engagement and involvement and investment that our community has in our facility and our organization. So I wanted to say thank you for all those who have supported the Fairmont Opera House thus far. We're doing our best to make sure that every dollar that you've given to us goes to preserving the Fairmont Opera House and making sure we can reopen again. So we really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
awesome. Big chunk.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it is. I mean, $1 million out of $4 million is like, well, you still got $3 million to go. Yeah. But I think it's important to note that that's more money than the organization has raised in that time frame in its history. This next year in 2026 is 125 years that the Fairmont Opera House has been in the community. And so over that 125 years, there's never been $1 million raised in 12 months before. So it's definitely something to celebrate, but we're not done yet.
Yeah.
We've got plenty more to raise and plenty more to go. And there's some exciting things that we can talk about today about how we're getting even closer to those goals.
Yeah. What are the next steps to take on doing that?
Yeah, well, we are excited to announce that we are one of 7 organizations that have been named in the Minnesota Legacy Bill from 2025 that was passed in May of this year, that we are eligible for a $2 million grant pool that those 7 organizations can apply for. And it's a competitive process, obviously, with 7 organizations, and it's over a 2-year time frame. So it'll be fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27, so 26 and 27, that the money will be dispersed. So we'll be applying for that grant. The deadline is September 12th for the pre-application, and then from there it'll determine what each organization needs for funding, and then the $2 million will be split out from there. So we're very optimistic that we can get some funding from the state of Minnesota, but the fact that it's just 7 organizations that have been named in that makes it feel like it's more achievable, instead of just a wide open grant pool for anybody in the state who has a preservation project or a legacy project. So it makes it seem like it's more achievable. So after the pre-application is due on September 12th, then the final application is due October 17th. They'll meet on it in November, and we'll find out in December. So we've got a little bit to wait yet, but we're hoping that that's some impactful dollars that's coming our way as well.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the history
Yeah.
and kind of, I know you kind of went over like 125 years. Go dive into that just a little bit more.
Yeah, so the Opera House concept started in 1899. There was a group of community members who said, we want a theater, we want a performance venue. Fairmont's a railroad town, so it made a lot of sense to have some sort of performance venue where people could come off the railroads, stop, do a performance, and then move on out of town. So it started as a private company, and there were shares that were purchased. We found some of those as we were going through some of our historical documents. And people purchased those shares to open the Fairmont Opera House in 1901 debt-free, which is really, really, something to celebrate as well. And the first show that was started, the first show that happened was a group that came in and did a show called The Chaperones. And originally in the Opera House, there was about 800 seats. Had a big horseshoe balcony that wrapped around, 4 pillars out front. This looked totally different than it does today. And they performed for 2 nights, and both performances were sold out. You could purchase the tickets for $5 a ticket in 1901. It's a lot of money.
Wow.
Considering that where Profinium is, there used to be a hotel right here up on the top of the hill.
Yep.
And you could stay at that hotel for $2 a night. So in comparison, the tickets to the show were really expensive. Sold out both nights. And then throughout the early 1900s and into the mid-teens and 20s, it was a variety house. So there was, musical performances, there were theater performances, there was dance, there were politicians who'd come in town and talk on stage. There's just so much happening. And what was interesting is that it was named Opera House originally because they wanted it to sound fancier, even though it was just functioning as a vaudeville house. But vaudeville is kind of seedy, and it's not the high standard that we want to have in Fairmont. So they named it Opera House, even though opera hasn't been performed there that often. And then in 1912, it became the Haynick Theater. And the Haynick Theater then was purchased by Mr. Hay and Mr. Nicholas, and it continued as a private operation. But then it was also when silent movies started. So there's the Haynick Orchestra. We had a 1,000-pipe organ that was in the building, and then an orchestra would perform along with the silent movies, all the way up through with everything else that was happening as well. The dance, the theater, the music, the politicians speaking, all the way to 1927 when it became the Nicholas Theater, and did renovations to look like it is today. So that's really the last big renovation that has happened. So in 1927, it changed the look to what it looks like today, and then in the 1980s when they fixed it to reopen. But then from 27 up to the late 70s, the entertainment continued to be the same, and then it became more of a movie house in the late 70s as well. So then 1980 rolls around, it becomes established as a nonprofit, purchased by a community group for $51,000, and then continues to do the same types of stuff that we do today. So I could talk for 6 hours about all this stuff, but briefly is a weird word to say, but briefly, that's the history of the Fairmont Opera House over the last 125 years.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happened, and one of them I'll quick highlight because everybody always asks, is the Opera House haunted after it's been 125 years and stuff? So there has been at least one death that happened in the Opera House. It's just one of those fun history things to talk about. There's a politician who was speaking during the Prohibition, and he was standing up front, and he had a $5 bill and had the Bible, and he pulled out a $5 bill and said, "I'll give this $5 to anybody who can tell me where in the Bible it says you're not supposed to drink," and he slammed the $5 on top of it, right? And so then somebody stands up in back and goes, "Hey," and this farmer walks down front and goes, "I don't know where you're from, but around here we don't treat the good book that way." And he had a heart attack and died right there at the front by the stage in the Opera House. So,
wow.
If you believe in that sort of stuff, there are weird things that have happened in the Opera House, weird things that have happened to me in the last 10 years that I've been the executive director. If you believe in that sort of stuff, then maybe it's haunted.
Yeah.
I
kind of like to believe in that kind of stuff, although I don't want to be there when it happens to me.
Yeah. Well, when I'm shutting up the Opera House after we do a performance, I'm the first one in, last one to leave, right? You lock the door, shut off the lights. It is kind of that weird thing, if you go in your basement and you shut the lights off and you try to race up the stairs really fast to beat the dark. It feels like that sometimes, there's nobody or there's nothing in the building, but it feels like there might be. So you kind of rush your way out of the building. Yeah.
That's funny and scary.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about the history, you mentioned that you found some old documents and stuff in there when you were cleaning it out?
Yeah, so we had 70 boxes and totes full of stuff from 125 years. And some of it was things that we knew about, some of the things were different. And one of the cool things is when we started working with engineers to learn about the building, they said we usually don't see a bunch of history. We don't see like original blueprints. We don't see the documentation of what happened in the building. And we had record of all that. We had the original blueprints. And from the work in 1927, we still had those original blueprints. So it was really cool to go through like learning about the facility and also having the documentation to look at and say, this is what they wanted to do in 1927. So in some of those boxes, there's like receipts that are dated. There's original shares that were in there. There's just so much history. And we took it all down to the Martin County Historical Society. And our friends at the Martin County Historical Society helped sort through everything and find what was important. And they created an exhibit and sorted through everything so that we know what's important for our history and what's important to the community history as well. So it's really pretty cool to have a place like that, which I believe the Martin County Historical Society was recognized as like the top in the state.
Yeah,
so having like the top place in the state go through your stuff and help figure out what's important to your history is really pretty cool.
Well, that's a perfect lead in to, we've got Katelyn and Dona over at the Historical Society to show us some of the items. Yeah, let's take a look.
Hi guys, I'm Katelyn from the Fairmont Opera House, and I'm here with
Donna Paris, the Martin County Historical Society.
And we're here today checking out the exhibit that they have very recently started creating for us. Donna, I would love to take me through what we've got here and what we've found.
Oh, this is just a very small sampling of what you and Blake brought in. We have found lots of pictures, programs, even the canceled checks.
Oh, wow.
That we have found a huge tote full of from the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
The different logos that they had.
That's so cool. Oh, wow. These are incredible.
And the bank books.
That's wild.
Found old postcards.
Oh, wow. And then look up here. This looks to me like it was South Pacific. I would recognize that coconut bra from only one musical that I know of.
Me too. It was a good play. And then we also found lots of pictures of artists.
Oh, wow.
Past
Arlo
shows.
Guthrie.
Arlo Guthrie, Scott Navanti.
Oh, wow. He even wrote a little message.
A lot of them did.
Oh, wow.
How they enjoyed being here.
Do you have more of those?
We have lots more of these.
Oh, wow. That's
Different artists.
One question that I feel like I get at the Opera House all the time is where did those murals go that used to be on the walls? People talk about that all the time.
I'll show you the pictures.
Let's go take a look.
All right.
Wow, these are incredible.
I'm glad somebody took pictures of them and had them mounted. But the colors, how vibrant.
Yeah.
And the story on them and such. I hope we get them back up.
I hope so too. Oh, wow.
And then we also have posters from the shows that were at the Opera House.
Magic Land of Mother Goose.
The stage, look at the balcony, how it curved like so.
Yeah, that horseshoe. Yeah.
And over we have some more pictures. This was a train poster of such. I'm still trying to figure out what that is. And then a picture of the Opera House as it once was.
Wow, the pillars out front are crazy. It's so weird to think that that's what it used to look like.
Exactly. And over here,
oh, cool.
They had their box office in the building.
Yeah.
And you would come up and buy your tickets. These would all be filled with tickets. And you see what row you want to sit in and buy your ticket that way.
So then are these all old ticket stubs then?
These are all old ticket stubs.
Wow.
And then we found a stock certificate from the Opera House.
Wow.
Back in the early 1900s. I'm almost guessing like 1901, 1902.
Yeah, that would have been right around when it was first established.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
We have lots of programs of the shows that were. They had different fundraising.
I bet you a lot of people around here remember these shows.
I think so. And it's not that long ago, but
No.
back in the 90s. And then we have some great big pictures that someone had taken of the Opera House with the pillars, the windows that are in the building but are now bricked over, unfortunately, as you can see right there. Mr. Nicholas had the canopy put up with electric lights.
Yeah, that starburst is really cool.
Yes. Oh, I remember that, seeing that at night. It was so pretty. And then we have, after we had the renovation done, there's the murals.
Oh, wow.
I wish it was in color.
I know.
The new seats, they did a major renovation on that.
Looks like it. Oh, wow.
But we have lots more to show if anybody wants to come down and take a look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we gave you quite a smattering of things
You certainly
back
did.
about a year ago. And we've been so grateful to you guys here at the Historical Society to be able to parse through it and tell us what parts of our history are worth holding on to and what might be just kind of trash that we held on to for a little bit too long that we would not have been able to do without you guys. So thank you so much for going through our trash and treasures.
Thank you for letting us do it. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned, I remember when we were talking the other day, that even some of our history pertained to some of the history that you were finding for downtown Fairmont, and that you were finding things from other businesses as well that connected more of the story of Fairmont as a whole.
Yes, it was a place to be.
Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll send it on back.
Well, that's really cool to see all the stuff that you guys found in there, and I'm glad the Historical Society is making your own display there,
Yeah.
as you should have a spot there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see all that stuff. It makes it not just ours.
Yep.
Right. It's community history. It's 125 years of the community giving back to the Opera House and engaging with the Opera House and participating. So it's as much the community story as it is the Opera House's. Yeah.
Definitely.
Now that the Opera House is kind of under construction and we've got all of these things going on, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, because I know you're still doing some programs and different things in the community. So tell us how that works and what's going on.
Yeah, so when we shut down the building in 2023, we knew we had to do some sort of programming. It's a very fine line, though, of we need to do things out in the community to remind people of what we do, but also not give them too much to say, well, you could just do it without the Opera House, right? Because we all know we need the Opera House back, but it's always a very measured approach of how we do things. So we've had some performances in unique and unusual spaces. We had a Christmas concert out at Cutting Edge Fitness. It was really cool to be in the gym space. We had a gala at the Martin County Courthouse in the rotunda there. And we've had great partnerships with some of the local churches as well. Grace Lutheran Church has hosted Mankato Symphony Orchestra for us. We've been working with the Red Rock Center. We've had a couple performances there. Knights of Columbus has hosted us as well. And then we had our community theater. Our big community theater show this year and last year, Mary Poppins and All Shook Up, this year in 2025 at the Fairmont High School in the Performing Arts Center. It's a really great facility that we have a partnership with the high school to use. But it's one of those things that it works out well over the summer because there's not much going on at the school during the summer. But during the school year, that facility is used so much. The orchestra has outgrown their rehearsal space, so they rehearse on stage. The stage in the PAC is constantly used for things. So there's really not a place where we could say, let's dive in and do programming in the PAC because it's such a used facility, which is fantastic for us too. Because there's so many kids who are involved in art and music and theater and dance at the high school level that we hope then to fill the void in the community when we're back open, that those kids can continue to do things in the community on the Opera House stage. So it's a great partnership for the time of year that it needs to be. And we look forward to trying to continue programming as well. Obviously, there's some things that need to happen. We need to continue raising money and in a timely manner so that we don't run out of our own resources. That's really the time frame of the campaign is when we run out of our own money, then it's kind of over, and we want to do our best to avoid that. But in the meantime, we're trying to figure out what does programming like? What can we do to serve the community? We intend to continue having our youth theater experiences, our kindergarten through second grade and our third through eighth grade youth theater experiences. We intend to have our adult community theater as well for 14 plus, to have those in the community and have people engaged. And it makes sense because it used to be its own organization. So Civic Summer Theater used to exist for a long time in the community, 50 years in the community, before they became part of the Fairmont Opera House. So in 2017, we absorbed that organization that became a program of ours. So it has existed on its own. It exists with us now. So we want to continue that because it's something that's been so engaging for people for almost 60 years in our community.
Yeah, that's a lot of history.
Yeah.
It is.
We're all about history.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
For as much as we're about music and theater and dance and performing and community engagement, it's also history,
Yeah.
right? And everything gets older day by day. We get older day by day. And part of what we found was interesting when we were going through the Historical Society stuff and going down there and working through it with Dona is that we forget sometimes that we're living in history too. And so we get to write it down or to share it and talk about it. But each of us have a story.
Yeah.
Each of us have a chapter that we get the chance to write each day. And as we work through that, it's nice to look back and remember, oh yeah, we're still writing that too, in our own businesses, in our own lives, and in our own way in our community.
Yeah. We just need to keep the Opera House around and, for future generations.
Yeah.
What are some like upcoming events that you have or partnerships to help promote the Opera House?
Yeah, so really there's only a couple things on the schedule. So we don't have community theater scheduled for this next year yet, and there's no other performances that we've scheduled in the community. However, Caroline Porter is a fantastic artist that's been here in town, and she's working with us to do the art walks. The art walks are coming up on September 19th or the 20th, one of those two, from 4 to 7:30 p.m. And it'll start at the Fairmont Opera House, so you have to start there, and she's got some really cool stuff she shared on social already of like her first sketch and rendering of the Fairmont Opera House. And it'll go from there to Citizens Park, where there'll be sketches of the Green Clock that's right in Citizens Park as well. And then I think it ends at the brewery, right?
It does,
Oh,
yes. It does end at the brewery, and then they do a sketch inside there. And then Caroline's donating, right, to the Opera House and the
and to the Historical Society,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. So it's really cool that we have people who are engaged in that way, who are willing to help out and fundraise and donate. And we've had lots of those donations come through, whether it's birthday fundraisers on Facebook, or we had a Pampered Chef fundraiser that recently closed. So there's so many people who are wanting to do things in their own way and with their own strengths to help fundraise for the Opera House, which really has helped us get to that $1,050,000 that we're at right now.
Yeah.
Just with those small things, like $100 here, $100 there doesn't seem like much, but it all adds up. It's a small drop in the bucket, but it's a drop in the bucket that we all want to fill.
Yeah.
So it's been really awesome to see people just really pitching in, helping, donating, doing all of these things. And maybe tell us a little bit more about what people can do and how. Yeah.
For sure. There's so many different ways to support. So it's the Facebook fundraisers, it's the birthdays, it's maybe you got a class reunion, then you gather some cash there because your class went to the Opera House or you remember the Nicholas Theater. But there's also things that are ongoing right now too. So DNS Trophies, our friends downtown, they have some merchandise sales. So you can go to DNS on the website, you can go to the Fairmont Opera House website, and you can purchase some merchandise that $5 of every purchase goes right to the Fairmont Opera House. So there's cool t-shirts, there's sweatshirts, because it's getting cooler, there's hats, there's scarves, there's anything just to get swagged out from the Fairmont Opera House. Which is really great. Visit Fairmont, you're wearing the shirt.
I am.
Has the mural that they put on the Opera House as well. So there's portion of the proceeds that are going to the Opera House from those shirt sales as well. So there's tons of merchandise you can buy to support. I want to highlight one that we had this summer. Dairy Freeze did a special peanut butter and peanut butter banana shake for All Shook Up because it's music of Elvis, and so they gave some of the proceeds from those shake sales as well. So it's all these small little individual things that are really helping, that shows the community involvement and engagement, that people do care, that they do want to support. It's not just the $50,000 gifts, it's not just the $100,000 pledges, it's all these small ways that people are helping. But the pledges are important too. I know I've talked to several people who are like, you got $3 million to raise, we really believe in this, but I don't know if I'm willing to give all of my money right now. If I've got $100,000 or $50,000 to give or even more, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Well, we have a pledging system as well. So people can fill out our sheet that says, I will give this amount of money in this time frame, put all the contingencies on there of like, you have to raise this amount of money. It can be used as a matching gift, which we have an active $25,000 match right now in memory of Dennis Turner. So you can use it as a match. You can do whatever you want with it and put it on that piece of paper. And if, for some crazy reason, that the Opera House project doesn't go off, that piece of paper just gets ripped up like it didn't exist. So you feel like you're supporting the project, and we count the pledges in that $1 million that we've raised. We count those as part of what's raised for the project, but it's not actually cash transferring hands. So if you want to support the project, you can always pledge it. If it's 10, 50, 100,000, 200, whatever it is that you want to pledge, we have those forms available that people can support in that way as well. And you don't have to be named on it either. Our $25,000 match is an anonymous match for in memory of Dennis Turner. So there's so many ways that you can help. And honestly, the easiest one, the best one, is sharing things on social media and telling your friends about it and coming to us asking questions. If you need clarification, then you can go out and tell your friends and family about it as well, because I only know so many people. A lot of people know me, but I only know so people, and my network's only so big, right? So the more we can expand our network and tell the Fairmont Opera House story, the more impact we can have and the further we can reach. Because it's the 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon or whatever it was. Like, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has way too much money, right? And so the further we can extend the story, the more impactful it can be, and the closer we get to somebody who has enough money who can make a gigantic difference, so that those $100 donations don't feel like nothing, even though they're not. They feel more impactful because we're getting closer to half, or we're over half. So there's so many ways to support, but just sharing and being an advocate and telling people about the Opera House and how much you care about it, how much it means to Fairmont, how much it means to downtown, those are such impactful stories and things that I can't get to everybody. So having the advocacy side of it to say, this is important to me, I'm going to share it on Facebook, or I'm going to share it on Instagram or TikTok. I'm going to go talk to Blake and share it at my family event, because this is really important for us in our community. We want it to exist.
We do too.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, and there's so many people who do.
Yeah.
I mean, the $1 million we've raised, so $743,000 of that is pledged, but the other $300,000 is people who just give us small amounts of money to say, this is all I can give right now. This is what I can do to support. And if it's $5 or $50, or it's like a small portion of your paycheck, anything helps.
Right.
And the more people we have do that, it makes it easier to go talk to some of these larger funders to say, like I said, 99.3% of the money came right here from Martin County. And so all these people who have given, that helps tell the story of, it's not just the Opera House, it's not just the board, it's not just Blake, the executive director, who care about this, it's the entirety of the community. And that's so important and impactful as I go talk to larger funders to say, it's not just us. Everybody wants this to exist. Everybody wants to go back into the Opera House and see shows. They want their kids to be involved in youth theater. That makes the story even better.
Well, Blake, do you have any final thoughts for us as we kind of close up here?
Yeah, so one of the things that people have kind of asked and approached is like, why $4 million? Is it worth it? Why don't you start over? And to rebuild the Fairmont Opera House, if we started from scratch, it'd be like $30 million. So unfortunately, this is the quick, easy, cheap solution to this. And it's just a repair and reopen project, right? This doesn't include any new fun stuff, new lights, it's just putting back the way it was, right? And so even though it is expensive, it just gets more expensive per day. And so the quicker we can raise the money to get the doors back open, the better off we're going to be. The Opera House has been cash positive the last few years, so it's not like it needs the constant support just to stay afloat. Like, the programming has been good enough. We've had so much community engagement that people keep coming out. It's really this one-time cash infusion. And I kind of pair it with like this memories thing, right? My family has a 1956 Ford F-100. Now, if we sold it, it wouldn't be worth that much to anybody else, right? We put new tires on it. We've worked on the engine. We put new wood bed in it. And for me, that's the closest I can get to my grandpa. He's not here anymore, but I remember bouncing up in the bench seat with him and learning how to drive a 3 on the tree. And so for us, that truck is something that has all these memories and the history tied to it. And we put so much money into it that other people would go, well, why are you doing that? Because it means something to us, right? Every one of the 500 seats in the Fairmont Opera House has a gold plaque. And each of those gold plaques are people who purchased that seat when they were redoing them in the mid-90s. And sometimes that's the closest that people can get to those people. My uncle passed away in 2020. We couldn't have a funeral because of the pandemic. I can go sit in his seat and remember him and think of the memories. And all of those seats mean something and represent something. Is it a lot of money to throw at something? Absolutely. That's not lost on us. That $4 million is a lot of money. But to some people, that's the only relation that they have to some of those memories. And it's not just the memories from the past, but it's the ones that we can create in the future too. That truck I can take, and my dad can drive it, and I've got my 2 kids that can bounce up and down the front seat. They can make their new memories, right? That's what we can do at the Opera House. It's preserving our past while also looking forward to the future and all those new memories we can make. All those kids, the grandkids, the people that are new to our community, the people that are old in our community, all those people who have been there, not been there, and shared the space and shared the time. That's what we're doing it for. It's not for me, it's not for you, it's not for us, it's for everybody. And that's why it's so important. It's expensive, yes, but it's important because that's the legacy in our community. It's something that's been here for 125 years, that memories have come in, people have laughed and cried and shared so much time in, and glasses of wine, and there's just so much stuff that happens there. So is it expensive? Yeah, but it's worth it. Because sometimes that's the only thing that we have left, to remember some of these people with those experiences. So it's important. It's important for you to share. It's important for people to donate. It's important to keep it, because it's a critical piece of the history of our community.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
And we at Imagine Martin are, so inspired that you're so inspired to create, and we want to, support the Opera House as much as we can, and our viewers to support you also, because we need you here in the community.
Yes, we do.
And
we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It just helping get the word out and talk to passionate people, and to those who understand or those who don't understand it, but getting the word out is so critically important. We're going to be here for a long time, and until the last dollar is gone, there's hope. And I'm optimistic, maybe overly optimistic.
I think that's
but,
good.
But it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
A smarter person would have left a long time ago. But for me, it's personal as well. I performed on the stage for 20 years, and I want my kids to have the same opportunity.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opportunity to share the stories
Yes, of
and
course.
share the passion.
Well, Blake, thank you so much for being here today and talking about the Opera House with us. And thank you to our sponsors and our viewers for watching us today on Imagine Martin, Inspired to Create.
A community knows no bounds when the citizens are inspired to create. Imagine Martin on TV.